So you're looking for the usual tasks for Unit 5, Lesson 4 this time around. And the do now is just a short video to show you what it should look like right here that you can just play. It's an exemplary Rube Goldberg machine, which we'll discuss right afterwards. And I'll reflect a little bit on the Rube Goldberg assignment. The video is only a minute long, all time for 2 minutes, just to make sure you've got enough time to load it and watch it. We'll come back together in 2 minutes to discuss it. Go for it. All right, I assume there was enough time just to watch that short video. Let's come back together. I probably illegally took that off of someone's Facebook profile, so tried to give credit where credit was due. But the point is, should your video look like that one?
It already does.
Yes. Yes. Hopefully yours will run unassisted. That's the point, not assisting every single step. What I like about that video too is how completely unrealistic some of the steps were. Did you notice, especially at the end, what he was expecting the Slinky to do?
Yeah, go up a ramp.
It was to go up a ruler. So yeah, there's certain things that you can probably figure out won't actually happen. So keep those in mind as you start to put together your final machine. So that's what I want to check in about first was your goal for this week leading into next week is to start building your actual final machine if you have not done so already. The next assignment, so I know I had you submit a photo of like your base or frame or whatever it is you're going to build on, which I have not graded yet, but I'll get to that. Your goal for next week now is to have a photo of just wherever you are with your project. Start to build your final machine. You want to think about what are the 4 tasks that you want to do out of that list of 8. I want to emphasize it can do more than those 4 things. It's just that when I grade you, just know I'm going to be looking for the at least 4 of those things. If you want to do all 8 steps, go for it. I encourage that. I think it's fine. The point is that you have a machine that runs unassisted from start to finish, like you started, and that's it. And it lasts at least how long? I remember what my minimum time was going to be.
15 seconds.
15 seconds, which I know doesn't sound like much, but when you look at some of the basic, like the simple machines you guys made, those went for maybe 3 to 5 seconds. And so you've got to make something a little bit longer. There's strategies to that, right? So you want to think about maybe having a ball roll a little more slowly down a ramp or have one of those like tether mechanisms that slowly unwinds. That being said, don't make it like one ball that kind of slowly goes because no one's going to want to watch that for even 10 seconds. That's going to get boring. So there's certain things you can kind of test out and try to get to 15 seconds at a minimum. You can go over that, obviously, if you want. It doesn't have to be right on 15 seconds. It's 15 seconds or over. That's pretty much all I wanted to mention. So again, what's due next week is just a photo of where you are. And it's okay if you only have 1 or 2 of the things set up, or if your machine's like pretty much almost done, that's okay. I just want to see a photo of where you are, and then I can work with individuals as we get into these final weeks. We really only have about, this week and 2 more weeks, and then we're wrapping up. So things are closing out fast.
Wait, for our like base thing, it's just like it's just like a picture of where you're gonna build it?
Yeah, and the idea was hopefully you would have like a piece of plywood or something that you could actually secure things to and nail things into. That's what I'm just looking to see if you're able to find that. And if you're not, then I'm willing to make exceptions. I understand if you can't find tools or if you don't have something like you don't have plywood at home that you can secure things to, that's okay. I just want to get an idea of where we're all starting. Yeah, that's all I need to see a picture of was just where and what you're going to be building your machine on, and then go from there. So yeah, that's all we meant by base. Good question. Any other questions? Okay, then according to the tasks list, today we are going to hear from Bear and Will about inner planets and Bailey and Grace about what makes a planet suitable for life. Those 2 groups, do you guys feel like you're ready to go? You've got links and stuff ready? Okay, we'll start with Bear and Will. Are there any special instructions?
I typed them out on the links page.
Cool. And so I know the discussion board's getting a little busy because we've been replying to each other. So I'm going to share my screen here real quick and just show you. The search mechanism is really good. Sorry, that's the assignment. Here's the discussion board. So it's helpful to actually everyone see on the bottom, right below the project description, those little boxes says search entries or author. And so you could just type in Bear and you'll see all of Bear's posts. And so looks like Will, have you been posting the lessons?
Yeah, we'll post this one.
So yeah, let's search Will, and that should pull. Well, I don't know why that pulls up everybody. Let's search Applegate. Oh, sorry.
The bottom. You could scroll all the way to the bottom if it's there.
The other thing too is I think I haven't refreshed. Sorry.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
The discussions don't. That's one thing that I don't like about the Canvas discussions is they don't automatically update. You've got to hit refresh, and then it should pull up whatever posts. I don't know why typing Will in pulls up everybody, but there you are, Will. So yeah, okay. All right, kids. Then, so Bear and Will, you're just sort of on standby to answer questions, or if you're running into any technical difficulties, you're our resource to answer and help out with those. Otherwise, I'm going to time for 20 minutes. We'll come back together. And again, if you get finished, by all means, you can start giving them feedback by either replying to the discussion or doing a Flipgrid video. Bear and Will, what you guys might want to do too is you can start filling out those 2 Google Forms. The links are right on the bottom of that little column. They're also right there on the bottom of the description in the discussion. So, all right, see you all in 20 minutes. All right, let's come back together. Even if you're not done, that's okay. Just pause wherever you were at. Sorry, I was lost in that NASA online solar system thing. That thing is so cool. I've never seen that before. I was trying to zoom in on planets and stuff. Great. Okay. Breakout room stuff was goofy last time, so I think I'm just going to keep us here for the feedback. I just want to go through the feedback questions. So we'll just share as a group anything you want to mention, what's something new or interesting you learned. Then we'll go to questions, and then we'll go to your thoughts on the tools that were used, which would look like were Potune, Edpuzzle, and YouTube, and just some other sites. So first of all, anything new or interesting that you learned?
I thought how Mars used to have like more weather and was more similar to what we think of Earth now. I thought that was very interesting. Like maybe we can make it go back to that in our future.
Has anyone seen The Martian or read the book? So you guys made 2 really good points about that, about how Mars, the soil of Mars is orange. Anyone catch why? What's it full of? They mentioned it in their presentation. We often call it the rusty planet. Anyone know what metal is very common on the surface of Mars?
Iron? Is it iron?
Yep, lots of iron. And there's also something called perchlorate, which contains chlorine, which unfortunately is very toxic to us as humans. And so in The Martian, he plants potatoes using human feces and a little bit of Martian soil. In reality, that would not have worked. The plants would have either died or poisoned him, unfortunately. So the other thing is, you guys mentioned that Mars's atmosphere is super thin. What that means is, so in The Martian, there's a storm that hits, right? And that's why they have to like flee suddenly. That would never actually happen. Like a storm on Mars would be like a minor wind gust on Earth. It would be nothing compared to like what we experience here. There's no tornadoes on Mars because the atmosphere is so thin. So you guys made really good points about that, which I liked. I continue to be blown away. I thought the size demonstration drawing thing, thought that was awesome. I had no idea Mars was so small. I always thought it was the same size as Earth. It's crazy. It's so tiny compared to Earth. That was a mind-opening thing for me. Anything else you guys learned? Okay, questions. Any questions that came to mind about the content? You guys aren't curious about anything? For me, what I'm unfamiliar with and what I'm always curious about is the whole magnetosphere thing, which super hard to like wrap my mind around. but I did a little research because after watching a few of these and hearing about this, but yeah, Earth's core is just a giant ball of iron, right? It's metal. And it's like a magnet. It has positive and negative end. And so that image you guys used was great, showing this like kind of these like swirls of charges that are emitted. And it turns out the sun is also blasting out these magnetic, radiation things. So yeah, there could be jumps in heat, jumps in radiation exposure, disruption to electrical equipment, all this stuff coming from the sun, and yet Earth we're shielded from it because we're also on top of this giant magnet that's at the core of our planet. And every planet has a little something. In fact, when you think of the entire universe, there's apparently even more of this stuff, and our sun is protecting us from that. So kind of a kooky thing to think about. Not something, again, I fully understand. But I do appreciate that, like, I guess the sun could theoretically knock out every single electrical device on the entire planet if we got hit hard enough with a solar, flare. But Earth's kind of own core protects us from that a little bit. So pretty crazy. But I had questions about like what causes that, how's that work? Anyway, that's not something that can be easily answered here, but that was something I was curious about. So, do you guys also catch what's funny about a day on Venus? What do you notice about a day on Venus versus a year on Venus? Anyone know? So how many days are in a year on Earth? Should know this number.
365.
365. Venus technically
Days
actually
longer.
rotates slower on its axis than it does orbiting the sun. And so technically on Venus, a full day, like if you would think of one spin, is a little bit slower than a year, which you guys got at with that encyclopedia information on the planets. So, okay, final thing, feedback on the tools. What do you guys think of the puzzle videos, the Potune? Did you guys make that Potune, or was that one that existed?
I think it existed.
It existed? Cool. Okay.
I liked the Ed puzzles.
It was cool. It was nice. Nothing difficult.
I thought your little activity thing was great. Anything like that where you can draw, and I don't know if anyone took the time to do it, but I think things like that are really fun to do, and kind of let you see it hands-on, which is great. Alrighty then. If there are no other questions or feedback, then we will move on to the next lesson, which I believe is... What makes a planet suitable for life by Bailey and Grace. Bailey, are you feeling like your links are ready and everything?
Yeah, everything. Yeah.
Great. And I see you have like a post that says updated?
Yeah.
Cool. So
and then I deleted my other one. So
okay, cool. So we should use the one that says updated on it from Bailey. Great. Okay, if you're not seeing a post from Bailey or anything, you might just need to refresh your Canvas discussion, but it should be there. You posted that a while ago. So, all right, then I will, we just follow the order and the instructions on the post, Bailey?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'll time us for 20 minutes again. And Bailey, you're just on standby if we have questions or anything, and remember to fill out those forms. All right, let's go for it. Kiddos, let's come back together. 20 minutes has elapsed. Since time is short and I don't want to keep us too far over, we'll just jump right into feedback, starting with new things that you learned.
One of the things I took away is like when you said, it was kind of interesting to me when you said like in 2030, I believe, that it said like Europe or Russia was going to send like a satellite to Ganymede, I think it was, right? And like that's the one of the moons that satellites around Jupiter or something like that. And that was kind of interesting to me. It's just like they're sending it that far out there, and I guess are they going to like use it to take pictures, or what are they going to do with it?
So there were these organisms that were discovered in like on the surface of our ocean around like trenches and stuff, and so they believe that underneath the surface of those there might be living organisms, so they're gonna like probe around underneath and like
I think it's like bioluminescence or something they think they're seeing.
Yeah.
What was it? I think it's a moon around Mars, right? It's pronounced Ganymede.
Yeah, I didn't know how to
Ganymede.
pronounce it, but
Yeah. If you're a fan of the Expanse show on Amazon Prime, you should check it out. Ganymede becomes like a farming zone basically. But yeah, I think it's a Mars moon, right? Ganymede and Europa.
no, I'm not sure which.
Are they around
Oh,
Jupiter maybe?
it's Jupiter, I think.
It's Jupiter. Okay,
Yeah.
yeah. So it is Jupiter. Cool.
Yeah.
I didn't think about how the habitable zone changes relative to star size. Thought that was really cool, and you made a good point about how smaller star closer in, bigger star further away, but how we've learned about the sun and how the sun is aging, and so obviously the habitable zone is going to change in our own galaxy too, right? As our sun ages, Earth is eventually going to get burned up, and so then maybe that'll be Mars's moment, or maybe Saturn will become another habitable planet where life will form. I don't know.
Yeah.
You made a good point
User
about that.
said that Mars is warmer years ago, and that's when water existed. So, yeah.
Any questions that popped into anybody's head? Any feedback on the tools? Looks like you were using a Prezi within Edpuzzle, and then you had a Kahoot at the end.
I liked it. I thought the videos were really interesting, especially the Draco equation one where they talked about like life in other areas. So I thought that was really interesting, and I was just like curious how they said it was like they believe in the Milky Way. It's like 10,000 extra other life organisms. I thought that was pretty cool because like sometimes I think about that, like people like say they don't believe in aliens, and then I'm like, how do you not believe in aliens? It's like you can't not believe in aliens. Like there's definitely something out there, you know.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool.
Yeah, I thought that video was fascinating. And even when they say, oh, we came up with this new low number, 0.00127, I was like, oh no. But then what that means is there's 127 possible intelligent civilizations coming up every I think it was 100 years or 100,000 years. Which when you think about it, I was like, because yeah, that's what got me too, is that a lot of people don't realize, like, when we get excited about finding life on other planets, usually most scientists are just excited to find bacteria, right? Which isn't very exciting for the common populace. Like, so what? But if we found bacteria on Mars, scientists would be losing their minds. But yeah, Drake was talking about detectable ones, like intelligent races that are using radio and satellites. And so yeah, it's kind of interesting to think about. What gets me is the whole time thing, though, and Einstein's idea of relativity, because I've heard too that, like, even if the closest next habitable zone, I think that's on Titan or whatever they call it, even if there was an intelligent civilization looking at Earth, they would still be seeing dinosaurs, right? They wouldn't be seeing us. Or they might be getting like World War II Nazi radio transmissions, now. So it's kind of an interesting thing to think about. The final thing that I liked about that video too is they mentioned too that broadcasting our location is great, but what if a civilization's hostile?
Yeah,
I've never heard of what's called the dark forest theory. That's there's a great book series. It's called The Three-Body Problem, and then the next one's the dark forest. But it's that idea of basically we should be kind of afraid of maybe locating ourselves to another species. I mean, we've all seen the sci-fi movies that maybe they'll come invade us. I don't know. Anyway, okay. Yeah, that was great. So thank you very much to both groups for presenting today. Those were both awesome lessons. And so homework is just to make sure you've submitted your feedback either as a reply on the discussion board or as a Flipgrid video. Bailey, were you able to fill out the Google Forms for that? And Bear and Will, did you do the Google Forms, the reflection and question contribution? Cool. So if you haven't done those, just make sure you're doing this homework. Otherwise, next groups, just make sure you're ready to go. As far as I can see, the next time we meet, we'll be hearing from, you guys are my smaller class, so we'll be wrapping up and then doing some guest lectures. We'll be hearing just from Ed and Wynn on failed planet formation. Oh no, Julian Cesar, you won already, right? For Earth's moon, yes. So it's going to be Ed and Wynn on failed planet formation, and then we're going to have a guest. I'm going to post a lesson from another one of my class sections, probably on the first part of the chapter, the galaxy formation one, just to share. So anyway, okay, that is it for me. Thank you very much, kids. Have a good day. I'll hang around if you have questions or if you want to chat about anything.
Thank you.